Hi, I'm Marcy Sutton Todd. I'm a senior developer at Principal Studios. I created this course on enterprise accessibility so that tech leads could advise team members on how to produce quality, accessible software. In this course, we'll cover minimum accessible products, what makes an accessible user interface, accessible naming and screen reader concerns, accessibility in JavaScript applications, test automation for accessibility, and organizational skill building. With this knowledge, I hope that you can lead an inclusive product development culture at your organization. So we tested with the keyboard. Let's run Axe DevTools, which is a free browser extension for Chrome and Firefox. There's kind of these paid parts for guided testing. They have evolved these tools over time. They're really great. But the free scan all of my page thing is so solid. It's what I call my daily driver tool. I use it every day, pretty much. So I ran it. It ran the page as rendered, so it's not going to test that open mega menu. It's not going to test modals. They ignore stuff that's hidden on purpose because it's like not in a state that's ready. So you want to run it again with those states. But this returned color contrast issues. And I'm going to go over here and see, so there's best practices are turned off. If I turn that on, they have way more issues. But best practices are not legally binding. There are things that we want to fix, but the violations are like, if you're focused on compliance, do the violations first. It also tells you what standard they're meeting or aiming to help you with, and that's WCAG 2.1 AA. I can hit highlight to see where it is on the screen, so that's helpful. I can also go down here to this Inspect Element button and hop over to the DevTools Element Inspector. And that often, for color contrast, I can go over here and click on this little color picker. And in many cases, not all, it will give me this contrast ratio picker. So I can actually drag around. So it's a blue color over white. So if I make it slightly darker, I guess did it meet? Was it like just barely not meeting too?
4.5 and you're at 4.4.
It was 4.44 when the expected ratio for that font size is 4.5 to 1. That's so close. So for that one, I could probably drag it, fiddle it, change it slightly, and no one will know. I could probably get away with that in this case. But sometimes it's too different to be able to do that. So you can go through these results and fix all of these. Fix as many as you can. Like run this as often as you can. You'll find all kinds of things that you missed and weren't aware of. So this is essential. There's also accessibility insights. The FastPass runs Xcore as well, so it'll be really similar. The ad hoc tools are totally worth checking out. Like I can turn on headings. And it will show me what the heading levels are. So the last one I'll show you is the web developer extension under, so I blew by that. So web developer information view document outline will give me this overall picture. Everything's in H1. Nothing's important when everything's important. So there's no hierarchy here. Yeah, the practice for headings is there should be one H1, and then everything kind of flows under that. Sometimes it's really hard to not have headings before your H1. That's difficult and hard to avoid. But in general, we want to try and create a content hierarchy like an outline in Word or Google Docs when you tab and like have an indentation and icons, and that's what we can do with our headings. So at least there's some like flow to it that makes sense. There's some H2s. Nearly everything here is an H1. So this tells me that they did not test their heading levels. It's just hard to tell what's the most important thing when everything's the same importance. Accessibility specialists work very hard to get people to care. Sometimes it can be very difficult, but there's different approaches to this. Training, doing audits, doing hands-on accessibility engineering. But it sometimes feels like boiling the ocean when your efforts could just be deleted with a pull request or a leadership decision. So that's partly why we really need this to be a team sport. Like the more people we have aware of it, the more successful it'll be. So we want a culture of it. Rather than isolating this to a few people, we want a broader effort. We need a culture around it, just like you might have a design culture or a testing culture. We want to adopt an accessibility culture, a civil rights culture. It's like, that has some weight to it, that's really what this is about. So we started the day talking about that. We looked at all of the technical parts. I really want to bring us full circle back to what that's all about. And that is that it's about people's civil rights. So how can we do that in a way that's real but palatable? It's like we want to balance what's at stake with bringing people along and persuading everyone. So here are some tips. Do user testing. Nothing gets designers' attention more than watching someone fail to use something that they've made and they loved. And share recordings. You can record those usually. When I worked with Fable, I had recordings of those calls that I could share with my teammates. So not everyone needs to be present for that particular meeting. You could share those assets, and many people could learn from that. And really, more than the result of that one user test, the effect long term is that it can teach your team how people with disabilities use the web and how they use your product. And that is worth its weight in gold. Put an accessibility statement on your website and share the feedback that people give you with the relevant teams. And I have a link here on what goes into an accessibility statement. It's usually in the footer of your site, just like with your privacy statement. It's a place to give people a way to contact you, a way to say, hey, we're aiming to meet WCAG 2.0, AA, even though it's 20 years old. We are all trying to meet WCAG 2.1. Whatever standard you're aiming for, document that. And don't be like, we're compliant. Probably not helpful. Say we're working on it. We're aware of it. Where it's the standard we're aiming to meet. Because you don't want to make false claims. You want to be real about it and invite feedback. Because any feedback you can get from real users, those are gifts. It's amazing. Include accessibility documentation in easy-to-find places, such as testing tips, user keyboard shortcuts. Are users going to ever be able to find those? And for your internal folks, are there docs on how to test things? If there's a place that you could share that'd be awesome. Have lunch and learns. Maybe you could watch a conference talk or something as a team. Or maybe your team member wrote something for accessibility and they could do a quick demo on it. Make a culture of knowledge sharing. If you're in an office, take a cue from Google. They used to put little, a printout in the bathroom stalls. You kind of catch people when they're taking some time to themselves. You could have a tip, something really bite-sized, easy to remember. Just some workflow tip for accessibility, awareness tip. Talk about accessibility in planning, design, and code reviews. Bring it up, the earlier the better. But that's how this work gets done. That's where the rubber meets the road, is when we bring it up and we do something about it. We'll do this incrementally. So I'm going to hop over to VS Code. I am going to open up this is our reorderable list component in React. So it has a reorderable list, and then within that, there is a reorderable list item component that is repeated for each one of those dynamic items. So this has the mouse dragging. It does not have anything for the keyboard yet. So if we scroll down to our kind of output here, we've got a div with an unordered list in it, just special, doesn't have anything, unique about it. And then this reorderable list item is creating li elements, and it's passing a bunch of props. That's about it. There's no hooks on here for keyboard users. An li is not reachable. It's not operable. Sure, I could drag it with the mouse. I could drag all day, but I'm never going to be able to use a keyboard with it. To speed this along, let's actually go and look at the full version. So we have our reorderable list item. This is what we just typed. let's go look at the rest of the list. So the edit mode, I think we had the is reordering already. That's what the drag and drop was using to like determine whether it needed that drop zone and all of that stuff. I added another state variable so that the edit mode button that we're going to add, you know, it has its own state that it's flipping on and off. So this toggle edit mode, set is editing, that'll flip that React state variable. And we are going to do the bonus round of announcing this in a screen reader. So I have an announce function here that calls the React ARIA live announcer. And live regions are a way to pipe messages to a screen reader. I love this React ARIA one because it will just handle injecting the live region for you. You don't even have to do anything. You just call this function. It will pipe those messages for you. There are 2 levels. There's assertive and polite. We'll do assertive to interrupt any other messages. Were you going to say something?
No, I wasn't aware, and that's a good way of putting it. It's cool.
Yeah, they called it rude at one point. It's kind of funny because it really does interrupt. Sometimes that's what you need. Okay, so we've got our dragging. That's all the same. All of our dragging in here on drop. Here's our item callback function for the arrow key handling. So we've got our event.key, could be event.code, either one. We're iterating through the items, like which one are we on? Where am I in the list? So if I delete one, what should come before it? So this is the logic to do that. And of course, there's more than one way to do it, but that's how I wrote it. So then if the arrow key is going the other direction, I guess that was arrow down, arrow up looks at, you know, where are we in the list of items? Are we at the end? Are we in the middle? Like, do I need to loop around again to the beginning, depending on where I am in the list of the array? So it'll go and create a new section and move us to the right place, set items. So it basically like reorders the array and then replaces that as the state of the list. That's how the drag and drop works too. So let's look at the markup. We've got this edit mode, this button. You haven't actually seen it yet, but we're going to add a button. And when it's in edit mode, it'll say edit gear list. When it is editing, it'll say exit edit mode. So it like changes the label text or the button text depending on what mode you're in. We can also use these state variables to like change the way the list looks slightly. You know, you could make it look like it's editing, or you could change button icons. We are using the role of application here. So we'll fire this up in NVDA and compare the two. Okay, so we have this draggable version.
List reordering exercise.
I mean, it's, you know, we're not going to do anything with that. So for this version,
Edit gear list.
We can go into this edit mode.
Grab. Edit gear list button.
Did you hear the little boop, that noise? So yeah, it's changing modes there. So.
Stopped editing.
Oh, stopped editing.
Edit mode activated.
Edit mode activated. So that's that React ARIA live announcer. We can announce a message of when we go in and out of a mode. So that's kind of nice. I didn't have to put that on the button and hope that it would announce somehow. I could actually programmatically say like, hey, announce this for me. So then I can go into the list.
Sortable list. Reorder paddle boards from position 1 button.
So that sortable list, I think that's an ARIA role description. That's, if I recall, that's how that's made possible. But from here, I'm going to hit the up and down arrow keys.
Paddle boards move to position 2. Reorder paddle boards from position 2 button.
So sometimes it's a bit verbose. I can't exactly control what it says. So it's announcing the thing that I told it to, the announcement, and it's saying what's on the button, because I actually moved, the focus is moving, so you reorder it, and then you tell the focus where to go, because otherwise it's like, where was it? It was in the previous position before, so I have to move focus onto the button in the new position.
Paddle boards move to position 3. Reorder paddle boards from position 3 button.
And so without that application mode,
paddle boards move to position
it
2.
won't move them.
Reorder paddle boards
because we'll be in the wrong mode. And so that's what that does. And so in this edit mode, we can be, just like the slideshow, a bit more prescriptive about how that works.